Hello, I'm Sophia Connell, creator of the community setup for the iRacing Indycar series, giving you a guide to round 6 on the calendar, that being the hallowed grounds that are the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Unlike last round, where we used the road course, we will be on the famous oval. However, this isn't the Indy 500. Instead, the race is shortened from 500 miles to 500 kilometers, which is an excellent trolling of us Americans. This is the second oval round on the season, which does not require a separate oval license to enter. However, your I rating and safety rating is taken from your oval license, so even if you are a rookie on ovals, you can take part in this abridged version of the greatest spectacle in racing. The weather this week is far cooler than the scorching temps of Indy 500 qualifying, meaning the track will have more grip and thus make passing easier. With this in mind, the setup I built is not meant for temperatures hotter than the forecasted weather, so I would not recommend trying it outside its IIS conditions without, at a minimum, adding more rear wing and/or the itty-bitty gurney flap. For the qualifying setup, I added some interesting changes that should help you set a quick time, but might feel a bit strange to a newcomer. It is my recommendation to practice with the set a little bit before the race starts, as the steering is very different from a conventional setup. When you first enter the car for your qualifying run, you will need to move the front anti-roll bar from the 1 position to the 6. As for the weight jacker, I ran no weight jacker during this demonstration run. If you are struggling with understeer, you can use positive weight jacker, but be aware too much might cause the car to swap ends. Like with 500 qualifying, you will need to engine warm, though the reduced session length means instead of revving to 9,000 RPM, you should instead go to between 11,100 to 11,300 RPM to get your oil temp up faster in the allowed time frame. In IIS, you get one time lap that counts, so tire life is less of a concern as only your fastest run will count. With that in mind, you should launch earlier out of the pits than you would for a 500 qualifying run. For qualifying, you will not need to lift. If you have to lift, check you loaded the right setup, or make sure you're taking the proper line. As for the race setup, it's far more conservative than the Q set. With the high grip track state, the race will be like Fontana and thus a pack race, so the higher downforce trim will handle the dirty air better. To improve its handling further, the same ARB trick is used here, so when entering the car, once again go from 1 to 6 on the front anti-roll bar. Before starting the race, make sure you have the following keybinds mapped. First, fuel mixture changes. Running in traffic reduces your fuel consumption. The draft is so powerful here that I'm running in map 5, the most aggressive fuel-saving map, and not even using full throttle, yet I'm still right under the gearbox of the car in front. Using this, I'm consuming solidly under 2 liters of fuel a lap. Saving this aggressively can cut an entire stop from the race if it goes green versus those who didn't save. Moreover, even if you get cautioned, saving fuel can mean less time in your box for fueling, and even mean extending a run to gain a tire advantage. Next, make sure you have your weight jacker set. This is labeled in your settings as the right spring set for some reason, but this is what controls your weight jacker. Positive weight jacker increases your car's oversteer, making it easier to navigate the dirty air. Negative weight jacker increases understeer. Using too much positive jacker can make the car spin, so be careful to not overuse it as it will burn off your right rear. Negative weight jacker, conversely, burns off your right front in exchange for that understeer. Unlike on road, you have cautions, so the fuel maps are even more relevant. While behind the pace car, use fuel map 8 to save fuel. You can also go up to 6th gear to reduce that fuel consumption even further. On restarts, go when the car in front of you goes, or if you are the leader, go when you want after the pace car comes in. If you are the leader, you are a sitting duck come the backstretch, so there's little point in trying to game it. On the restarts, you cannot pass to the inside, you can only pass to the outside, hence you often see cars lining up against the wall. Don't worry if you lose the lead. Being in second is often the preferred place to be, as running it in clean air burns more fuel. Remember, you don't need to lead every lap, just the last one. It's a long race, and be prepared for your plans to change. If someone goes for a late pop, there's no shame in lifting and slotting in behind them to suck on their draft and save some more fuel. As for handling dirty air, lift on entry. Your goal is to keep your momentum going, so letting off on entry and then powering out of a corner will keep that momentum high and allow you to set up massive runs that will let you take the lead when it matters most. The last general racing tip I have is to always practice your pit entries and pit exits. Races can be won and lost on the pit lane. Here, I bin it while leading in my Leagues 500 because I was not used to braking hard for pit entry. Braking on old tires is hard, and making sure you hit your box is vital to success. Another item to be aware of is the new pit exit rules. You cannot cross the white lines on pit out. Also, if you're making green flag stops, reset your weight jacker before storming down the pit access lane. While the race is not as long as the 500, it is still a grueling affair. However, by remaining patient and with a little luck, you'll be in the right spot at the right time. May the odds ever be in your favor. See you on track.